Peace be with you, my friend. I'm Bob Wilhelm, and I'm a storyteller. And so we begin the Lenten journey. When I was a child, I remember the Lenten journey as a time of great rigor. I was in the children's choir in Catholic elementary school, and it meant from third grade on, long hours of Lenten devotions, Stations of the Cross, lots of kneeling. And the kneeling, to me as a child, a fidgety child, was really part of the penance of the Lenten season. But it was also a time when spring began and when there was great hope. Again, as a child, it was during the Lenten season that I saw the tiny little violets and violas blooming in the cracks in the sidewalk by our house in New Jersey. That was the promise of spring, those little blossoms and those green shoots. It was in New York when I was still younger, perhaps in first and second grade or even as a preschooler, when we lived on the east side close to Fifth Avenue, that I remember the St. Patrick's Day parade. My mother would dress us warmly, for it was always a bit chilly, and in the grayness of the city, we would go down to Fifth Avenue and we would watch the marching bands and the green colors. I just was always amazed at that, how green it was. And so there are the two kind of polarities of the Lenten journey for me coming out of my childhood experience. I'm saying all of this as a way of introducing a story which is a story from Ireland. It's a story of St. Patrick. And I've chosen it for the very first Sunday of Lent. Now, last week, the story was a rather severe tale of Pahom's Wish. And if you listen to that story, you know that for Ash Wednesday, the story was for Ash Wednesday, it's a somber reminding us of what's in store if we succeed or if we fail on our Lenten journey. So this story is quite a reversal. It doesn't have the kind of somber tone and the kind of dark ending that the last story did. It's actually a humorous story. I don't say it's a joke. I don't think that jokes really fit very well into worship or into settings of prayerful reflection, but humor does. And that's something that we sometimes forget. And the last thing I think we need to abandon during Lent is humor. Again, the gospel reminds us it's not good to have a long, sour face as a result of the austerities and the joylessness of a Lenten journey. And so it's appropriate to have a celebration with a story that contrasts very sharply with the severe gospel story of Jesus' temptation in the desert. But at the very, very same time, while it reminds us of that journey of Jesus, it does so in a very lighthearted and humorous way. It's sort of, I think, food for the journey. So something to cheer us on and to have us go into Lent without putting on that long, long face. The story has Patrick ascending Croagh Patrick, the great mountain in the west of Ireland, County Mayo, that he did ascend historically 1,500 years ago as part of his Lenten journey. So being inspired by scriptures, Patrick, the missionary to the Celtic peoples, took a 40-day journey of prayer and fasting and austerities on what is quite a windswept mountain. I've been to Croagh Patrick many, many times over the years, and it's not tree covered. If you look at the picture on the website, you'll see that it's stone covered. It's very, very severe. The wind blows off the Atlantic, and to climb the mountain or to stay atop of it for 40 days is quite a challenge. It was also a mountain that was sacred to the pagan Druids, and by ascending the mountain, what Patrick does is claim the mountain for Christ, claim the mountain for the gospel that he is proclaiming. And that gives us a way of understanding why the story addresses his three tests. And in those three tests, Patrick makes a statement about redeeming all of humanity. Patrick makes a statement about the gospel not only revealing, redeeming all of humanity, but also all of the imagination that comes out of the human mind. Now, I say this because this is an important part of this story, and I think an important part of a theology of the incarnation. That because the Word became flesh, the world is transformed. We don't see it fully yet, but the world is transformed. And the gifts that we have as transformed people, as people who have been touched by the transfiguration of Christ, that transformation for us affects all of our work, including our imaginative work. We are not only people who have bodies and souls, but we have minds and we have imagination. And in the second test of Patrick, and you'll have to listen to the story to hear it, you see that he asks not only for the salvation of all the people who could be assembled on the plain below Croagh Patrick, but for another group of creatures who could also be redeemed. And it's very much in keeping with Irish tradition. And then, of course, the third temptation, the third test for Patrick, is one that I think will warm the hearts of anyone who's Irish or who's married to Irish, as I am, or who wishes they were Irish, at least on St. Patrick's Day when we wear the green. So I invite you to take the journey to heart. It's a serious journey, but it's also a journey that invites us to rest along the way, to have lighter moments when we can smile and even laugh at our own folly, our own foibles, and laugh because of the beauty of the creation of the world that is now appearing to us as winter wanes and spring comes into our view. I'm Bob Wilhelm. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm a storyteller.